Hey guys, wait to see who comes in the room. A lot of weird things going on. A lot of weird energy. Yeah. And I don't usually get on here without my hair done. And yeah, well, hi Peace Dealer. If you get on here, see, I don't give a fuck what I look like. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I gotta look a certain way. Nope. To get on YouTube. Yeah, well, stop being fake, people. Yeah, I look like shit, but whatever. I'll go do my hair. Hey, how you doing? I gotta put on my glasses. I got some stuff to talk to you guys about. Some weird revelations and stuff that I've been getting. Downloads. Lots and lots of them. And I'd like you guys to chime in if you've been getting stuff too. I got some words. One of the things that I'm watching is obviously the power of manifestation. And the energy that, okay, let me put this down. The energy that we're in right now, I'm going to be going on later. I definitely am. Okay, hang on a minute. Let me get my glasses. I think they're over here. Hang on. Because I really should have got on when I had my glasses. See? Preparation. I actually use salt. And then some essential oils a lot of times. But I actually invested in a 5-pound bag of this Himalayan salt that I used, as well as even before that, I got bags upon bags of Epsom salt. And I do 2 to 3 baths. Like now that I know I look bad, sorry, but like I said, I'm gonna do my hair and get on later. But this is something I felt like very compelled to get on and talk about now. I hope some people in my tribe get on here because I feel like it's important to the collective to know this. It's almost like a warning that I got. Also, I've been reading a lot of scripture to kind of back up where I'm supposed to be going in my own journey, which isn't everybody else's journey, but it's my own. And I've been getting a lot of just stuff biblically that just solidifies what I've already been uh sensing for my channel, and the power behind the spoken word, the power behind faith, the power behind the words that you speak, manifesting things. But and I wish there was more people on here, but eventually this isn't for I started scribbling. I was meditating. Okay, many of you know that my boyfriend and I had broken up. And that's not getting resolved. I came into his life for a very specific purpose. And I think it was more of a mirror to see that when you do get what you want, that you could end up becoming very ungrateful and selfish and staying in a 3D egotistical, it's all about me. I did this myself, and not give credit to the universe where the universe deserves it. Because all that, he had the worst luck until he met me. I guarantee you, if he would have never met me, nothing would have changed for him. Nothing. And he knows it. He thinks that he did all this himself. No, good luck and good fortune follow when you're on the right path. Things will come your way. Well, I'm looking at it as a paradoxical thing now, and a learning tool for myself, that when I start getting more of what I want, how am I going to use that success? Am I just going to give myself credit? Am I just going to say, oh, well, I did this myself, and not continue to co-create with the universe and give the universe the praise for what was given to me? Because guess what? As soon as you go into ego, as soon as you go into it's all about me, I'm not saying self-care and self-love, because many of us have been beaten down for far too long. So self-care and self-love and self-worth is extremely important. Not to get in, but not to get into pride. Pride goeth before you fall flat on your face. And many people seem to forget that. Many people seem to think, well, I went through hell for so long, I deserve this. No, you don't deserve anything. Nobody deserves anything. The gifts from the universe come from a higher place of what you need to fulfill your purpose. It's not that you deserve it. It's an endowment. It's a gift. Hey, Jess, how are you? One of the things that I can say that I'm learning is to watch people. Hi, everybody who's on here. Is to really watch people. And when they come into their success, what not to do. And how to stay humble and give the glory to who deserves it. Which isn't this self. It's not this self. It's not the ego. It's the higher self who deserves it. It's the universe who bestows all gifts. Because as soon as you get what you want, it can be taken right away just as fast. And that's what people forget. People think, well, I did this on my own. That's what my ex said. I told him, watch yourself. You better watch that thinking. Because as soon as you get into pride and you stop thanking the universe and the people who has helped you get to where you are, and think it's all about you at that point, which a lot of times you are not. You and your purpose is about you co-creating with the universe and becoming this conduit that is placed in this 3D realm to show everybody the image of who they can be and what they're called to do in this life. And every person has, like I said, we're all a tiny piece of this puzzle. So to think that, oh yeah, I'm big badass because I got what I wanted. I have 50,000 subs or 1,000 or 5 or 100, guess what? It's not about that. I know. Some people just don't get it. And that's how I know I can't be with this person. I cannot be with somebody who's so not willing to I showed he like my other I show these people a side of grace. That's what we got to do. I show people a side of grace, and what comes forth from me to them is hang on a minute. In my heart, I come from a place of restoration and healing, and letting someone know that their life matters. They have a purpose and a destiny. And it's not usually to work in a factory, sorry. Unless you're going to start showing people the right thing. It's not about materialism at all. It's not about money. That's another institution. See, people get it. People get it twisted. Yes, absolutely, we deserve compensated for our time, but people get it twisted. They think, oh well, I have this many subs, and I have this, and I have that. Guess what? The internet can go down tomorrow, and you got no subs. Remember that too, for all you YouTubers out there. All you YouTubers out there who have like 50 to 100,000 subs and are making like boo. Guess what? What would happen if the internet went down? You better know who you are and yourself, and know what special gifts and talents that you have to provide outside of the three-dimensional matrix, because the world is going to need that very, very, very soon. You better start developing those inward gifts where you could just walk up to somebody. You already know. You don't need tarot cards. You can walk up to somebody who's hurting and be able to look straight into the core of who they are, and or even stand across the room and telepathically think. You know what's going on with that person. And right there, hi Faith, how are you? Right there, you have an inroad to help heal that person, because there's no way you should know what you know. I use tarot cards. I use tarot cards as a form of as a tool for people who don't have faith. Not to mention, I got thrown into this community by spirit that said people in that community need healing, and people in that community need what you got. And when you start giving away what you got, I'm going to give you more, and we'll see what you do with that. And when you start giving away that, you're going to get more and more and more. It's not about holding on and being selfish to what you're given. It's about giving it away. And then you become a constant flow and conduit. You become that where it comes down and then it settles within and then it comes out. And it's truth and solid truth from the womb. Yeah, this is a channeled message, guys. I'm learning a lot right now, and I'm learning a lot on letting go. Last night, I was talking to Faith a little bit last night, and I was telling her, I'm trying to get my school books back. This is the only thing that has been held over my head. I have school books that I loaned my ex's dad, and I have no problem with them. They're, like I said, I like his parents. But I want them back because they're my school books. And actually, one of my professors had wrote me a note in one of my school books about how proud he was of me being an adult student and how hard he knows it is for an adult to go through school. So that kind of meant something to me. I'm at the point where it's like, just drop my books off in my car because I don't want to see you. The stuff that he says sometimes, it's so, how can I put it? Just downgrading. And or it feels that way. Even if it's meant as a joke, it's downgrading me as a spiritual being that doesn't live in this dimension. It's like he's trying to pull me into, keep me into this, locked into this three-dimensional matrix. And that's what's been triggering me. That's exactly what's been triggering me. Insecurity. Yeah. Those insecurities of not feeling good enough or being triangulated with other things, whether it be a job. It doesn't even have to be other people, even though he used them. He used animals. There's things he's triangulate. Like, there's so many things that I've noticed. But I'm grateful because the universe has revealed it to me. so that I can kind of put a stop to it. And it's like I said, it's not even all his fault. I'm not kind of like trying to bash him, because I'm actually learning a lot from watching what he's doing. It's like God saying to me, watch what he's doing and do not repeat. Trust and have faith. Now, I'm going to go into something else. Kind of leads up to this. I've been watching, there's a fellow in here. He does, he calls it, he channels the Chiron. If you look on for Chiron on YouTube, he does a lot of stuff about the energy, the times we're living, the 3D matrix, light workers, what we're being called into, and healing. And that's I watched him a little bit, but I never really got into him a whole lot. Okay. Yeah, there you go. I never got into a whole lot of because at one point there was a video I heard, and I really feel that nobody should down our spiritual leaders, or spiritual leaders. I'm sorry, our leaders. You want to know what those leaders are playing? They're like a chess piece. They're all playing their part. They're just being moved around by either dark or light. It is what it is. We need to step out of that 3D matrix of politics and get into the spirit, because when things shit hits the fan in 2020, 2021, that's when we're going to be needed the most. So this is a training period and a test. This is going to be the year or two where all your dreams and everything that you wanted is going to come, and how you act and how you respond to getting what you want. This is all channel. How you respond to getting what you want will determine your power of being able to come into higher authority in 2021, 2022. Do not be shocked if you do not find yourself being sought after by people for healing, or doctors and hospitals. That's where we're coming to. Because people are going to be running to and fro looking for answers, and guess who's going to have these answers? Because you're open, because you've been able to open your whole alignment and your whole system to your higher self, and you here have a straight line to the wand through spirit, and you're going to know what to do. That's why we've been gaslighted, a lot of us. That's why we went through narcissistic abuse. That's why many of us have gone through this bullshit of people lying to us and then trying to alter your reality. And are you going to stick to what your senses are telling you and what spirit's showing you? Or are you going to listen to an obvious lie? Even though you know your whole cellular structure is going crazy. You know what it is. You know what's going on. You're not dumb. Even though they want you to think you don't know. And you want to know what? It might not even be quite what is going on, but Spirit's giving you revelation for what will go on if you continue in that. Or what's about to happen. So instead of getting your heart broke, it's better to depart. So they're watch a great trimming and falling away of people who aren't supposed to be in your life. Have faith. Faith is and don't okay. I'm going to let you know. During this whole thing, I wrote all this stuff down. I talked to Faith a little bit about it last night. I have a whole different, yeah, it looks like a bunch of scribbles, but I can read it. The Celtic Cross. And this will be only for people with private readings, even though it could come out a little bit in main when I do regular readings. I got a whole different perception and a deeper layer of truth to the Celtic Cross and how to emulate. And I'm going to kind of explain to you what happened and the most important things in this Celtic Cross tarot card spread that I felt was extremely, and I don't know why I channeled this, but here's the thing, okay? This is what I got, and I'm gonna kind of explain it to you. And this, like I said, the whole thing was, when you get everything you want, are you gonna fall back into ego and say, I did all this, like I see what's happening, or are you going to stand back and be grateful that you can co-create with the universe and just be astonished at how spirit has changed your situation and have a spirit of gratitude for being able to manifest the good in your life? Or are you going to be egotistical about it? Be like, well, I don't know, it was all me anyway. Because that's what I see happening with my ex. And it can be taken away just like that. He's got to figure that out on his own. And when all that falls away and he tries to come running back like they all do, he's not going to be able to get a hold of me because I'm going to be in a completely different dimension at that point, and he's going to realize he lost. I tried to tell him. As soon as I get my books back, he's blocked. So, either way, this the most important card, and I'm going to tell you this: your central issue for a Celtic Cross right now is usually what is happening right now at your core situation. It's usually something with outside of you. It's not necessarily you, because that is more on this side. But what I got here is, for this card, like I said, it's a bunch of scribbles. So the core issue is the potential of what the universe is saying to you. This is the potential of the core issue. This is what you're being shown. What's important here is this crossing card and the trigger and what's blocking. And that is what needs integrated. That blocking card is an integration card. You need that integrated into what the universe is saying to you at that point. That's what first needs to be integrated. That's what you need to look at. Instead of looking at the outcome and future, that is the first thing you need to do during this time, is how can I integrate that blockage? And then, this is interesting, once that, you got to get past the blockage and that integration of integrating that into your situation. And then Spirit's going to take you, when you do that, you're going to start working on foundational things. That's what the foundational cards are. And what I got for that is your very distant karmic past. Those karmic triggers. Some of these triggers that are coming up in you aren't even yours. They might have emulated throughout your life, and you might have seen certain patterns, but I guarantee they weren't just your patterns. They were patterns from past lives or patterns from ancestral lines. It's karmic, deep rooted, and it's the blueprint that has been controlling you since before you came to this planet and all consecutive lives prior. And it's controlling that trigger. Now, that also needs to be healed. That karmic stuff needs to be healed, whether it's ancestral. And I'm going to go in. I think I'm going to, at one point, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a teaching on this because this is deeper than I thought it was going to be. And yeah, this is probably going to be a part of teaching a healing modality. I believe this is a new healing modality for the future for tarot readers. So you heard it from me first. If anybody tries to steal this, you know Blue Flame Integration came out with this. But either way, y'all know this. All right. Here, the past position, which we all gloss over as tarot readers. The past position was your past choices. They were your past choices. And the initial conflict or crisis that caused this blockage or trigger. Or it could have been the person's past choices. The other person, if you were dealing with a person or a situation that caused, that's that trigger. That's that blockage that needs dealt with. That's that karma. And it all stems up from this karmic distant past, and it works its way up into, and it goes around in a circle. This whole thing is okay. That needs integrated as well and forgiven. A lot of times, this is where forgiveness comes in, is in this past trigger, and down here in the foundational root. That's where the forgiveness comes in. All right, the overview is what you're ruminating about and you're thinking about. And here's what I've noticed. This is all the overview. The overview is your ego, your egoic self, battling positive and negative polarities of the situation that you're dealing with. It's many times, and we know we're in a spiritual battle, right? We all know this. The situation, this is where the manifestation starts. This is where you start manifesting a positive or negative future card and outcome. Okay? So, this is air energy. You want to know what? The foundation, that's earth energy. Okay? That crossing card, I really feel the crossing card in the situation you're in now is the situation you're in now, or what's coming up as the issue, very well could be any element. But I really feel like that integration part, what's my name? Blue Flame. I feel like that is fire and purification of what needs integrated. That past situation is emotional. It's an emotional trigger. So I really feel that very well could be water. But that foundation part, that's all earth. That is all karmic. That is all Virgo a lot of times driven. That's what you see. That's the real. That is the things that have happened and the deep foundations and roots and from the distant past and karmic past and that blueprint that it's deep rooted. And what plants are rooted deep into the earth a lot of times. They need soil to grow. So that's why I say I feel like that's earth energy. Like I said, I'm just channeling a lot of this stuff, and all this is coming out. So what's important right now is getting into the manifestation part. And I believe that overview is all air energy. How are you going to take those thoughts that come into your head? Because I do this. I'm not perfect. It's self-sabotage. You can self-sabotage it, or you can speak life into the situation. I always say, your thoughts become words. Your words create your surroundings and manifest. How many times have I said this? I've been preaching this since way long ago. The power of the spoken word. I have been looking up scripture, and I don't look at me. I look at what Jesus did. I look how he did it. I look what works, and I throw away the rest. Not that all scripture in some areas aren't viable for, a blueprint of how we should be living our lives. We're not doomed and gloomed because of that. Either way, off of that subject. Your future card will determine how you handle this air energy in your overview. That's what you're manifesting in. Like I said, you can manifest a positive or a negative situation coming either in your life, whether it's something brand new, but it all comes from this conscious state of mind. This is conscious. Okay. This is the deep rooted is subconscious. And that's what needs healed is your subconscious right now. And this triggers that past and that blockage. Okay. How you see yourself, that's on the Celtic cross, is your self-perceived and self-perception, and it's all rooted in ego most of the time. It's your egoic self. I am this or I am that, and I haven't got a whole lot I didn't go a whole lot into like that or how other people see you. I'm going to meditate more on those cards. But I really think with that how you see yourself in the Celtic cross, that ego, that's your ego, and that is who you are at core deep inside. I think that needs to shift more to, okay, how does the universe see me? And that's who I am. Only through the lens of your higher self. How people outside see you, which is judgmental. That's all rooted in judgment. And a lot of times that's a blockage as well. It's the outside perspective. It's how other people around you are taking what you're doing, taking what you're saying, and perceiving who you are by what they have through their own limitations and filters. And then they come up with how they see you. Okay? Are y'all hanging here in with me here? You got this? Okay. The next card, and this is also an integration card through fire. This, I believe, is a spot where fire needs to come in. Purification. This spot needs purified in every person's life, and it needs integrated. Okay, is your hopes and fears. It's all about motives. What is your motivation? Because that's what you're going to manifest, whatever your motivation is. That's why they say be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. Hopes and fears. If you're fearing something, guess what comes next? The outcome. If you haven't done that work, this is all about the work. This is a deeper level of going through that work. This is what Spirit showed me yesterday. I wrote all this down in a matter of about 15, 20 minutes, channeled. And I pondered it. All of this determines your outcome. If you can integrate that hopes and fears, the first card you got to get through is that blockage. If you can't even get past the blockage through forgiveness and figuring out those triggers, there's no point in even looking at a tarot reading. Because it's meant there. These readings are meant to give you direction of what you need to change and how to change your situation and how to manifest an outcome. That's what I'm going to try and teach you all, how to manifest a better outcome for yourself. And I'm learning it with you. So this is all new for me. One other thing that I had gotten as far as like a channeled message about these tests is this is all about manifestation power. Your thought waves, which is this overview card through communication, is the air element. The earth element right now needs to be grounded and balanced, karmically balanced, and given it over to the universe to judge. Because if you're holding on to those deep-rooted karmic, and a lot of us don't know, we don't understand, like they've been so hidden from us that we don't understand it. It's a part of the blueprint. And the fire is the purification of thoughts and actions and words and why you're doing what you're doing. And then water is the healing of emotions. That's what's going on right now. This whole thing is going to be the catalyst for change for you. Now, when I do readings on YouTube, I'm not going to be using this modality. I'm not going to go as deep. This is going to be for when I do privates. We're going to get into the deep-rooted stuff. I feel like this is a whole different undertone of what Spirit has been showing me. And we're going to be integrating this blockage. And we're going to be integrating this foundational and deep-rooted stuff through healing. And we're going to forgive that past person who caused those triggers, or past people. And then we're going to take those negative thoughts captive and turn them into a positive to manifest a positive future. And then we're going to come down here to this how you see yourself, which needs to be through a universal lens. We're going to start talking that way about ourselves instead of through a 3D egotistical, oh, I'm so and so. And then we're going to come up to how other people see us and not give a crap and forgive them if their thoughts or perceptions of us are distorted. And we're going to speak life into that situation. Then we're going to come up to this hopes and fears, and we're going to completely smash it with the sword of Michael, the archangel. And then we're going to bring in the angels for the best positive outcome for your whole situation at this point, since you just went through the healing. Welcome to Blue Flame integration and new upgrades. Passing that test. We need to get rid of the ego. It needs to go. And we need to come into our spiritual selves and higher selves at this point. There's no going backward at this point. We cannot go backward. Sorry, I got to plug my phone in. We can't. We cannot turn back. Like I said, I had to get on here. I look like hell. I didn't even do my hair yet, but I'm gonna come on later, and I'm going to do readings. I did get dressed, and I was gonna do this while I did my hair. Oh, hang on. I was gonna do this while I did my hair and stuff, but no, I kind of wanted to show you what Spirit has been showing me. And if all this makes sense, please give it a thumbs up, share it. Actually, no, don't share it. I might even delete it because I don't want anybody stealing this. But I just wanted to tell you, or edit this part out, because this is something that's special and something that Spirit has given to me. Why in the heck is this not? Either way, yeah, that's going to be my new yeah. I'm going to be integrating this to help you guys come into your higher self. So you don't have to worry about this 3D stuff anymore. And I don't have to worry about this 3D stuff anymore. I'm going to be doing it right alongside you. I'm not perfect. Y'all saw me get triggered earlier this week. If there are certain things that get me triggered, it's religious folks. And I love it. It's not, I love Jesus. That's the thing. There's certain things that get me triggered. It's not even, it's not people who love Jesus and are trying to do the best. It's people who take religion and think religion is going to get them into heaven and rules and regulations, when it's not about that. It's about, what are you doing to help people? What are you doing to love people? What are you doing to grow your relationship with the one? What are you doing? That's the most important relationship you have. The most important relationship you have with the one will end up being the most important relationship you eventually have with yourself, because it's going to be completely integrated and you're going to be completely immersed in spirit. And you're not going to be able to separate the two, because ego is not going to exist at that point, because it's no longer going to be about anything 3D, which is part of the thing me and my ex, now ex, can't talk because he went backward. He says, I changed. You're damn straight. I did change. I did change. Because Spirit started to show me things. I don't know if I have time to read a book right now, Summer. I really don't. I got so much stuff I have to do. If I could do audiobook that I could listen to it, that'd be one thing. If you're on here like this, where we're going right now, these triggers, they can no longer control us. They can't. And we can no longer be in covenant relationship with people who are in 3D. We can't. Unless they're willing to grow with you. Unless they're willing to grow with you. I get it. We slip in and out. I get it. Nobody's perfect. But when somebody does something and they're not willing to apologize or say they're sorry, I've been seeing synchronicities like crazy. I don't know about the rest of you. The last few days, I've been seeing 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. I've been seeing fives a lot. I'm getting the synchronicities again. I know I'm on the right track. I saw 222 and 333 today, and it wasn't on purpose. It just happens. I look down and there it is on my phone. What do you say to that? Thank you, angels. And that was right during, I saw 222 right during the time when the ex, I messaged about getting my books. I told him a mutual friend had messaged me that I haven't spoken to in a while. And the reason I said that, he jumped to conclusions right away. He says, well, go get it in, girl. My ex told me that. Who says that to somebody they care about? Oh, you want me to go have sex with somebody else? Are you fucking kidding me? I'm not sharing my energy with just anybody. There's an energy transference through sex. What don't we get about that? See, he's living in the 3D. That's where his mind is. And it offended me. And it triggered me. So yeah. Who wouldn't be triggered by that? We broke up a week ago and he's telling me to go get it. And then he's like, oh, I'm just kidding. Yeah, everything's a joke to him. Yeah, well, it's not a joke to me. I take spiritual things and universal law extremely personal because it's the only thing that's real. People have it backward. When you get what you want, when the universe lays it all out for you on a red carpet, after you've gone through hell and rightfully have earned it, how are you gonna handle it? And I'm talking to myself too. If y'all see, I told Faith last night, I said, I'm gonna come on, I'm gonna look bipolar. Because I was in such a zen state last night that I was just like, you know, I'm gonna look freaking bipolar as shit because Friday I'm going off about church and this pastor that I'm gonna have to possibly run into who's very pharisaical. Call him pharisaical instead of a Pharisee, but he is like, how do I deal with that at my Nana's funeral or at my grandma's funeral? Because I know he's gonna trigger me. And I know I'm going to hear hellfire and brimstone. And what do? Do you want to know what I'm going to think I'm going to do? I'm going to soak for the next 2 days in the glory. And I'm going to walk in there at that funeral and be completely paradoxical to everybody else. And I'm going to speak life. And be like, you want to know what? Praise the universe. I got a new spirit guide. I got a new ancestor on the other side helping me now, folks. I got more guidance. Thank you, Gremmel D. And all you done. Raising kids you did not have to raise. I told Faith a little bit, Summer, who's on here, I told her a little bit about my family, the tragedy in my family, and she's like, you could write such a book on the fuck, and that's on my mom's side. The thing with my grandpa, my dad's dad, that's like straight out of some Final Destination shit. Same with there was an instance that happened on my mom's side with my uncle, who I never got to meet. He drowned when he was 9. My mom's brother. I want to talk about guilt for a minute. and shame. This should probably be a completely different, but it kind of goes along with this Celtic cross and what's karmic and deep rooted. And part of the reason I was a blathering idiot on Friday is because quit serves no purpose. You don't think I should say anything? Because what I have to say is quite important, I feel. Because my grandmother dealt with a lot of guilt. There's a lot of family drama on my mama's side. And that's one karmic line that I didn't want to deal with, is my mom's side. My matriarchal side. I don't like dealing with that side of the family because they're all hypocritical and Baptist and the disputes and being put in the middle as kids. Look, my pap Jaeger, my mom was a Jaeger and my father was a Jaeger from different lines. Oh, guilt keeps people in a really stuck state. This is that trigger blockage and it's deep rooted. And this is what I'm going to try and start helping people with when they come and get private readings from me. And we're going to use a modality that I've been studying for a long time. We're going to break it off so that you can remove those blockages to your best life. We don't need to live in fear, guilt, and shame. Let me tell you a little story. My biological grandma and my biological grandpa had gotten married. My grandmother was very young, my mom's mom. She wanted out of that house because she was being abused by her father. She married my grandpa for the wrong reasons. He went off to war. And he goes, but how did that work? I'm not exactly 100% sure. My mom was born in the 60s, so yeah, okay. He went off to war. When he came back, they gave birth to, I have two uncles who are 100% full blood uncles and my mom. Okay? One's still alive, but he's a terrible alcoholic. He went through Vietnam, saw horrible things. Not to mention he's dealing with guilt because of what happened to my uncle. My mom, I think, was 2 or 3 when this had happened. Now, by this time, my grandmother and my grandpa divorced. Supposedly, I've heard multiple stories about why. It's none of my business because, it's past. She ended up moving on and remarrying and having another child to her, my other grandfather, who I will refer to him as my grandfather, my pap, Lester, who was the sweetest man ever. He was something else. Funny. He was a truck driver. But, my grandmother ended up meeting him and moving out to Ohio and did not take her kids with her that she had with my grandfather. She left her 3 kids and moved out of state. Okay? Now, my biological grandfather, remarried the grandma who just passed, Grandma D. My family gets upset when I call her Grandma D. I had three grandmothers. I have a Grandma Yeager. Sorry. That's my dad's mom. Sorry. She was never Roby. She's Grandma Yeager. That's paternal. She's Grandma D. She was my step-grandma. And she treated me like a step-grandchild. So you're aware. And then I have Grandma Bingaman, Grandma B, who I believe is a narcissist. Either way. Back to the story of tragedy and guilt. My grandmother moved on. My pap and my grandma, the one who just passed, she had one child before she met my grandpa. And he took care of that child, plus his 3 own. And then they went on to have 3 other children together. In the midst of all of this, my grandma, who had just passed, was pregnant. And this is what really came up the other day when I was going out. To pick up my daughter. Was this emotional guilt that my grandmother was that my Grandma D was holding on to for all of these years. And I look at the obituary and I see that they did not put Danny in there. And that hurts. Because I was her stepson. She was preceded in death by him. And that is wrong to not have him in there. And I'm going to say something to my mom about that. Because he was there to ease her guilt when she crossed over the veil. I saw it. He was standing there with my pap. And my family members don't realize this. So that she no longer felt that guilt that she carried her whole life. What happened? She was pregnant with the youngest, which is my aunt. And my uncle was walking home from school with a friend. He was 9. My other uncle, my oldest, decided to go around the pond and not walk home with his brother. You know, he was the older brother, annoying little brother, whatever. Well, my Uncle Danny's friend decided to take a shortcut across the pond. And he fell through. Well, my Uncle Danny, which I know is an empath, didn't run for help. He ran to help him. He ran to try and get his friend out of the water and fell through as well. Well, my other uncle heard the splash and went up and told my grandma. They called 911, and they had, at that time, because this was back in the 50s and 60s, she would have been the only one who would have been able to get in the hole to get him out. But she was pregnant with my aunt and refused to go in after my uncle. And he died. Well, guess what happened? My grandma, who left state and left her children back here, she and her whole line of the family blamed my grandmother for the death of him. And she carried it her whole life. And there has been a family dispute ever since. My mom had to grow up in it, in a household of being pulled in 2 different directions by her real mother and her real father. That's why my mom sits and has such anxiety and she picks and picks and picks at her fingers because she's so stressed. And that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about healing those core wounds. Who wants to go and deal with their whole life with guilt? Forgive yourself first. Those foundational root things, those things that you bury so deep that are coming up right now in Pisces season. You got to forgive yourself, people. Not to the degree of ego, but to the degree of I made a mistake. How can I do better? And I don't want to make that same mistake. And I'm sorry for, and apologizing. If it causes you to apologize and destroy that ego, you need to do it. You need to do it. That's how you destroy ego. By apologizing. Whether they accept your apology or not, it's none of your business. It's that pureness and intent of why you're doing it. And it's not always just to clear your conscience either. It's not about clearing your conscience. It's about clearing your karma. It's about clearing your karma. Clearing ancestral karma. Raising your vibration. I'm going through a very hard time right now. As many of you know. But I'm getting a lot of answers to a lot of things. And I'm grateful. And I'm staying in a place of gratitude. Whether my ego likes it or not, the time for blaming things and blaming people is over for me. I'm not going to be perfect at this and I'm going to make mistakes. Please just bear with me, folks. When I started this channel a year ago, Spirit has done so much. And this last test for me, this last test of closing this karmic cycle in relationships, I passed. Now it's moving forward. It's all about facing front. I hope this helps. I really do. Like I said, this is something that Spirit is, you would think you should be in the midst of mourning and crying and, whatever. And I have my time. And it's probably going to hit me and it's probably going to be a wave the next few weeks. I understand this. We're in Pisces season with all these weird planets and this portal that opened. And yes, we're going to be on this weird roller coaster ride. One of the big things is, are you going to pass the test? When you get everything you want, because it's coming. There's going to be another decision to make when you get everything you want. Are you going to go back? Are you moving forward into spirit? Or are you going to stay in 3D? Are you going to continue to worry about 3D relationships and how that's supposed to look to you? Or are you going to move into the 5D Because guess what? Those 3D relationships have to fall away. They're going to be removed. They will be removed from your life. The word I got yesterday, and I posted it on my Facebook, but there's another fellow that I've been watching, and he's awesome. I shared some stuff on my Facebook. Summer, do you remember? It's like glitch, something. Something the glitch. And he's been talking about energy and synchronicities and unconditional love. Unconditional love isn't being a doormat. I know this. You can love people from afar and send them universe. You can send them love because we're all connected anyway. You do not have to be with somebody in the 3D to love somebody. But the word I got was emotional regulation right now. It's not about those highs and lows anymore, folks. It's about getting grounded. And once that happens, you're going to come into perfect. Right now, Spirit is doing an emotional grounding. And when it finally takes hold, you're going to see frequency and vibration, male and female, come into perfect alignment. And as you move up together. It's not this and then this and then, no, you're going to come up together in frequency and vibration. Glitch, that's, yes. But it's something to glitch. I want y'all to check him out. He's awesome. He actually talked about the prayer of lost things from something Bennett, I forget I want y'all to watch that. If you guys have lost possessions, you want to know what? I'm going to start doing that prayer. I want my life back. All of it. From everybody who I've gave my resources and my light to, I'm praying for it all to be returned to me because it's rightfully mine. Who I gave my time to, guess what? I want it back. I'm not saying I can turn back time, but I sure as heck can slow it down. I could pull it apart. And I can slow it down so that I can get all the stuff that I need done in a day. Because it seems like time is going by so fast that I'm on a whirlwind and I can't stop it. Spirit's showing me I can slow it down for myself when I need to. Yeah, I know that sounds like bizarre, but we can control that. Just like we can start controlling the weather. Mm-hmm. It is, we're coming into a power where we're going to be able to control that stuff. When you start getting this stuff, you need to get different earbuds. Yo, I'm going to tell you something. May I use the reference here, please? Let me see if I can find it. That's about demons. Look, I've been kind of going through biblical stuff that has to do with all kind of healing and deliverance, because we know that that's where sort of my channel is moving into. But there was something that had to do with uncompassion versus empathy. And I noticed this. And this has to do with, I think, the narcissistic spectrum. And it's in Luke, biblically. Like I said, this is stuff that has been, I've been kind of, when people don't, okay, a lot of people have heard this, there's so many scriptures that I got that was so good today. I should just do this on another video because it goes into all of the miracles. It goes into all of the miracles that that Jesus, that my brother, my spiritual brother and teacher, had done, and said, greater works shall you do than I've done. Because you're going to have more time to do it than he did. He had very little time. From the time of his miracles, him starting to do miracles, to the time of his death was like a year or two. And he did all of this in a year or two. He learned how to use his manifesting power for good, and only to glorify Spirit and the one that sent him, and source that sent him, to show people unconditional love. Buddha was another one. Unconditional love. Okay, here's the thing. Hang on a minute. I will share this one with you. Hang on. Where is it at? The book of Luke, I want to challenge you all. If you don't want to read, hang on. If you don't want to read the Bible, or I ask you, because this is the time that we're coming into as spiritual people, of walking in miracle, power, and authority. Okay? Walking in miracle, power, and authority. Hang on, I want to find this. Okay. It's Luke 9. Verse 27, we'll start there. Or shall I say 26? Okay, no, 25. I'm going to even go back further. Oh, no. We're going to go back further than that. I'm going to read a little bit here more. Hold on. We're going to start at 24. For whosoever, and this is the Amplified Bible. So it kind of gives you like a little bit of a context of what certain words mean. Either way, for whosoever would preserve his life and save it will lose it and destroy it. That's ego. Jesus referring to ego here. But whosoever loses his life for my sake, spirit, universal thought, consciousness, he will preserve and save it from the penalty of eternal death. For what does a man profit if he gains the whole world and forfeits or loses himself? Ego. Here we go. Because whoever is ashamed of me and my teachings of him will the Son of Man be ashamed of. He's not calling himself the Son of God here. He's calling himself the Son of Man. When he comes in the threefold glory, the splendor and majesty of himself and the Father and the holy angels. However, I will tell you truly, there are some who are standing here who will not taste death before they see the kingdom of God. That's what's manifesting on this earth right now, is the kingdom. Not hellfire and brimstone, the kingdom and the glory. And when the glory that resides in his people, and the people who have been basking in spirit and universal truth and beginning to walk in power and authority, things begin to shift. Now here's where it gets good. Now, about 8 days after these teachings, Jesus took with him Peter and John and James and went up on the mountain to pray. Light workers, listen up. And he was praying. The appearance of his countenance became altered and different, and his raiment became dazzling white, flashing with brilliance of lightning. And behold, two men were conversing with him, Moses and Elijah. Guess what? That's our ancestors. That's our spiritual teachers before us. That's who, They appeared in splendor and majesty and brightness, and were speaking of his exit from life, which he was about to bring to the realization at Jerusalem, speaking of the upcoming death of Jesus Christ. So you want to know what? They gave Jesus the, it's time to come home. This is what's going to happen. This is how you're supposed to handle it. This is what, this is the plan of, Source. Don't fight it. Just go with the flow. But leave behind my teachings so that the other people who have an ear to hear and a heart that's cracked wide open for understanding can pass it on to the next generation and the next generation and expand on this stuff. It's called collective consciousness, Christ consciousness. It's all about unconditional love, forgiveness, and compassion and empathy. Walking in power and authority and not giving a shit whose feathers you ruffle. Doing miracles, signs, and wonders. And knowing your shit. Doing what's good and allowing God to take care of the rest. Having faith like a child. So that's what I got for right now. I'm going to go do my hair and get on do readings. But, I did pull some cards last night. These were the few cards that I pulled. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Look. That was the main issue, guys. 9 of Pentacles. Call this the Independent Woman card. With her kitty. Saying, you want to know what? I'm going to be okay. I don't need anyone else. I got myself. I don't care about nobody else. I'm stable in myself. Yet this was what was crossing. This 2 of Cups. You might be outwardly saying this, inwardly you're screaming this. This is what needs integrated. This is the blockage to your manifestation power. That's what I pulled. So guess what Lisa needs to start integrating? I've been single for so long. And it's been these, Two of Cups people that have been my blockage. Get me off my path. And I need to ask Spirit how to integrate this. I don't know if this makes sense for any of you. Foundation. I pulled 3 other ones from my foundation. For the foundation. Maybe for the this probably is collective too. Twin Flame card. Thinking about all those past hurts. Letting them stop you. And those triggers. Guess what? They need gone by Aries season. You need to figure this stuff out quick. Either way, that's what I got. If I get more channel messages, I'll be coming on. I know I look like hell. I apologize, but I wanted to get this done before I went on and did readings. And I wanted to talk to y'all. So I hope you enjoyed. It's been some insight that I've been getting. And yes, I'm in the middle of a grieving period. And what are you going to do? Gratitude. Be grateful. You know, I had so many, out of respect for my gram, like I did post her obituary and it is sad. And I cried a lot on Friday, the day after it happened, but I haven't cried since. I lie. I had a few tears today, but it had more to do with the nastiness of the ex. And like I said, I got a word for him and I sent it to him to watch his ego. Because he seems to forget who was there and the magic that was around him when he got what he wanted. Now quickly it can be taken away. When you forget how you got to where you got and not honor those who helped you get there. That's all I have to say. I'll talk to y'all later. I love you. Y'all take care. I'll be on later to do Libra's reading.